Hello and welcome to episode 179 of Sutton Impact Family Style. I'm Jason.
And I'm Bill, and I want to start off by giving a salute to Mike and Paula Murphy, who have started listening to our show, and we want to thank them for their support and hope they continue to enjoy the show.
Yes, thank you. And thank everybody. Thank all of our longtime listeners too.
Yep, Chase, I'm happy we can always find places, even though you live in New Orleans, and Jason keeps finding good places for you to go.
Yes.
All right, so where do we want to start today, Jay? I'm going to start with The Rock buying the XFL.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with saying that I'm happy about it. I like the idea. And I think The Rock, as opposed to Vince McMahon, will have... First of all, I think he'll treat his players and his employees better.
You'd hope so.
I also think that he might be able to work a deal with his investors and his friends and all his connections to really maybe make the XFL an affiliate or a farm system or a developmental league for the NFL. And I'd love to see The Rock do that. That's more jobs for kids coming out of school that don't make the NFL. And so I think it's a really good thing. So I'm real excited about it.
And again, it's going to come down to the product on the field. But I also feel like The Rock being The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, give him his full name, despite Vince McMahon's billionaire status and success and everything he's done in the world of WWE and sports entertainment, which is just, unparalleled, I don't think Vince McMahon is bringing new eyeballs to the sport. Where I feel like The Rock could at least be like, he could get he uses Twitter, his social media, his TikTok, he uses everything, and he could maybe bring in younger people to check out the XFL at least once or twice, or other people, that Vince McMahon probably just can't get at this point.
And we know, if you watch Ballers, that The Rock is an experienced agent and experienced general manager, so we can expect something from The Rock.
And he played defensive end at Miami, which is not a joke,
Yeah.
And back when Miami was the U, and not when they were whatever they are now. So that's pretty good.
So that was good news today. I like seeing that.
And I'm sure he got a really good deal buying it during this time.
$15 million.
Yeah.
So he assumed the debt. I think the debt was about another 9 or 10, and we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
So it'll be a developing story that we pay attention to.
Definitely.
Jason and I were talking offline a lot about the NBA and how much we're enjoying watching the NBA. And, Jason, go ahead and make your comments that we talked about.
Okay. So, obviously it gets a little boost because it's like, not, going on a carb-free diet for a month and eating pizza. And any pizza's going to taste better than no pizza. And we've been so, not having sports. It's great to see it back. But the NBA, kudos first to all the guys because they came back in shape. And there was some concern, guys would come back out of shape, but they're playing hard. Outside of Lou Williams, I think it seems like everybody is taking the bubble very seriously. And as people pointed out, for certain people, this is a couple of months. For other people, it might be like 6 weeks in the bubble, so...
Yeah.
The guys on the Washington Wizards and the Nets are probably not going to be playing much longer than they already have, than these first 8 games. So, but I love the innovations. I'm kind of stealing this from somebody else. I don't remember who I heard it from, but I noticed it when I was watching the games too. With the baseline cleared out, so when we don't have giant cameras and people sitting on courtside, especially those, the cameras with like the 2-foot long lenses, I feel like the guys are going harder to the hoop.
And you pointed that out, and I really agree with you. I've been watching. I've got Head Game on while we were talking offline, and I saw a bunch of drives to the hoop that you usually see a player having to go up and then figure out how he's going to land and how he can come between the cameraman, the first row of the seats, and the opposing player.
Right.
And they don't have to do that now.
No.
So I like it, and I'm hoping that, I'm hoping a lot of these changes, you and I talked about this, a lot of the changes that the NBA's put in, you don't need the cameraman right now, obviously, because we're watching it and getting great pictures without a physical cameraman sitting in the end zone.
Yeah. And they're doing it like the presentation is honestly like it. I know this is more for the kids, but like the NBA 2K franchise that's out there right now, the Take-Two franchise, those are the camera angles you use in the video game. So I'm sure, like, for the average young viewer too, this is like there's nothing to. I mean, I found the camera angles to be great too, and I do play a lot of 2K anyway. But I mean, I think for younger people, you're just right. It's what you've always expected, and I love I love hearing the talking. I like the sneakers on the floor. I like the sounds of the game. And again, it's been really fun, really good basketball. I mean, we've only had one tragic injury. Poor Jonathan Isaac. That did not look good.
No, it did not. I was watching that game too.
And the Magic just seem bizarrely unlucky, I would say. I mean, I think
I think that's a fair statement. Star-crossed.
Yeah, I think they've had some really poor coaching decisions, GM decisions over the years. Very nice people, but just not very competent basketball general managers, and they pick the wrong coach over and over again. But you look, anytime they get a high draft pick, it's in one of those years you don't really care if you have a high draft pick. And the guys that they pick, they just get, Jonathan Isaacs looked like a modern day four. This almost 7 foot long, lanky guy that can shoot and drive, and he started to look pretty good after missing a lot of last year. But I think he's gone for at least a year.
Yeah, did they say what it was?
They said just a torn ACL, but like when you watch that video, like it looked just bad. And again, hopefully, modern medicine, he comes back, he's good. But, we knew we'd see a few injuries because that's just the nature of the game. But it's a bummer that, the Magic just can't seem to ever, put these pieces together. I thought Dame Lillard has been phenomenal. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that guy is just absolutely unstoppable. And Portland looks healthy.
He looks really good.
And with Nurkic and Collins back, and I know Collins drives people nuts because it feels like he has all the physical tools you could ever want, but he makes so many mental mistakes when you watch him, like fouling guys 30 feet out from the basket and just some other just bonehead plays. But, like, that changes their whole team. As we talked offline, like, Harden looks fantastic. Russ looks great. I mean, the Rockets look like a team you wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, I mean, and they all have a lot of energy. And like I said, I wrote today in my Sport Business Journal column that I would love to see is, next year the sports team is going to be so crowded because people are going to be playing later in the year because the NBA and the NHL are going to start late.
Yeah.
Play 64 games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people will pay the same for them. I think that they're more meaningful. I think the TV ratings will be better. I think there's a lot of positives to come from this. You won't have a player load issue. So there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I love the way they're playing now. And it's really fun to watch. It's very, very well, laid out, very well presented. And like you said, I mean, the players are behaving themselves in the bubble. And, we'll see what they are like 3 weeks from now or a month from now. But, you would think, though, as they get closer and closer to fighting for a championship, that they'll become even more accommodating. So we'll see.
Well, I think the schedule playing, every other day, I think the elimination factor, which is eventually going to come into play when, some of these teams go away and then you're in the actual playoffs. Like, I feel like those guys are going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I do think Lou Williams was an out, and I think the heat he took from his own, from the league, from the players, from people outside the players, the media, I think that was a big shot across the bow. Like, don't mess up.
And I think the NBA players are better at that than maybe the MLB players.
Yeah.
By calling people out and understanding things. But again, it always gets back to what I say all the time. The NBA, they're partners. The MLB, they're adversaries. And adversaries are different than partners.
Very much so. And you also, the NBA has the smallest rosters. They only brought 22 teams into the bubble, which was probably 4 teams more than they needed to bring, maybe 8. But it's cool that they gave some other teams a chance. And, we said, when LeBron James and Chris Paul send out a text and say, we're getting on Zoom, and they speak, I feel like they, like you said, both because they're, advocates for the Players Association and everything else, but, I just think that they have the respect of younger players and their peers where it's like, okay, if this is what we're going to do, you said we're safe, we're good. I feel like they listen to them. They've got that other leagues I don't think really have. And then I guess we can talk about my New Orleans Pelicans and whatever the hell they're doing, because it seems really confusing.
Well, yeah, if you're sitting Zion's playing like 10 minutes a game, you're not going to advance.
No.
And it seemed like, the NBA went out of its way to give that team a shot to get into playoffs. But let the play-in thing happen and everything else because we're in so many games in the last playoff spot, which I thought was the right thing to do. But New Orleans definitely has not played. I watched them. They lost their first two games, I think.
They did. And, I mean, to not have any minutes available for Zion at the end of the game, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I understand, you've got one of the most valuable young players in the league. He's already a superstar. He's internationally known. He's a phenomenon, a freak of athlete, and everything you want, and you want to be careful. Because, you're New Orleans, you're probably, even in a weird situation, you're probably not coming out of this tournament as an NBA champ. But you got to be, you should be, he should be available at the end of a game, no matter what is meant, however you're dividing his minutes up. Because he doesn't seem like he's on the same page with that team either, which is not a good sign moving forward in the future.
Yeah.
Because he seemed visibly upset, and he was audibly upset in quotes. So that's not. I don't think you want to be on that foot.
I love watching him play. I love his game.
Yeah. So
hopefully that team will be healthy next year and be a perennial playoff team for years to come.
Ideally, yes. Especially since I live down here, so that would be really nice. Another league that's not doing nearly as well, that people don't even think is going to be able to finish their season, is Major League Baseball.
It just, and I think I said this last week, but it just, there are certain places in the country that are really, really, really dangerous. Why do you want to have a team based in Miami and have other teams fly into Miami and play them, and then have the Marlins and all the other teams fly up the East Coast and spread it? It just doesn't make sense.
No.
I think that, you should have looked at it and said, you know what, this team can't, if we want this team to play, but they're not going to play in Miami. It doesn't matter because they don't have fans anyhow. So, do like Toronto. Toronto's Canadian government said no, they're playing in Buffalo, and that's it. So find another place to play. I'm sure there's a lot of places people would have loved to have them come in, even though they can't watch them.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, I saw somebody sent me a diagram today, Jason, or a mock-up. They had Pittsburgh Blue Jays shirts already printed up in case the Blue Jays played some games there.
Hey, it would have been fun,
It would have been. But it is what it is. But baseball, I don't see baseball making it through the 60-game season. I really don't.
No, I think Vegas already has some pretty disturbing over-under odds on them actually finishing the month, let alone the season. And it's a shame, too, because Aaron Judge, I think, has homered about 5 straight games.
5 straight games.
And you've had some pretty incredible baseball, but the story isn't about Aaron Judge. Once again, it's not about the player. It's about something else wrong with baseball. And that's...
Well, I predicted the Pirates to go 20-40.
Yes.
And I revised that now to 2-58.
2-58.
They are absolutely... They're as bad as when we lived in Pittsburgh when you went to grade school, when we went to games in the 80s.
Yeah.
They're that bad.
They just need to, I know you can't do it because people own what they own, but there should be something where if you're just a poor owner, you get a decade of being a bad owner, and I don't know how they would quantify it, but that you're forced to sell the team.
You get a lot of support for that idea in some markets around the country, there's no doubt.
Yeah. And maybe, the league makes it so that, you're leaving your franchise, whatever the value is, plus 10%, but you have to leave. Because you clearly either don't want to win or don't understand how to win in baseball, and you're just bad for the game. Because again, you obviously were born in Pittsburgh. We spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh. That city will get excited if you put a product out there.
Yeah.
And they just don't.
It's sad. What can I say?
Yeah.
I do want to shout out my highlight moment in baseball this week. The birth of Beckham Michael Trout.
Okay.
I buy stock in that kid.
Yeah. It does seem to translate fairly well from time to time.
But I really don't think, I know the Cardinals aren't playing on the weekend. The Nationals haven't played for a while because of the schedule. It's a mess. And there's a lot of people who say just, put it out of its misery, just shut it down. But, we know money talks and bullshit walks. We say it all the time. And so this is strictly a money decision. The players want their money, and the owners don't want to give it back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where we are. But, as what I've seen so far, I would just say I would bet my house on the Yankees running the table unless there's some massive injuries that are going to come out. But Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, everybody else they have, I mean, that's a stud team.
It is. It just really is. It's a shame they couldn't have, I know Omaha's for Little League, but if they had just done their own Little League World Series, basically, pick a region city, bubble in those cities, come together in one big half, and it just turned into as opposed to a regular season, it's just this awesome regional baseball tournament, where I know the Pirates would obviously not come out of the East, but, just everybody hub in these, 4 cities, meet in one city in the middle with the Final Four and just play like a round robin little. I mean, I think they could have, it would have been good for the game, and I think it would have got more interest than what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And maybe more money. Who knows?
Yeah, and we got college football, and we got teams deciding they're not going to play their early games. Looks like the SEC and the other leagues are going to start toward the end of September and play a conference-only schedule.
Yeah.
Which eliminates the big rivalry games like South Carolina, Clemson, and Florida State. Those games won't get played now.
No.
So that's interesting. The Big 12 was supposed to announce what they were going to do today, and I didn't see that yet. So I don't know what they're going to do. But the Pac-12 players have made a list of demands for safety, payment, and social justice. And they say they're not going to practice, they're not going to play until their demands are met. So we're going to have labor negotiations actually in college sports, which was inevitable. You can't just keep making money off these guys and expect them that someday they're not going to wake up and say, "Hey, you need me. You need me." There's a price. So it's going to be a really interesting story to follow, Jake. So we need to follow this Pac-12 thing and then see if it catches on in the other conferences, see where it goes.
And hopefully all the people that are angry because their job sucks and they don't get paid what they deserve will understand this isn't about the free college tuition they're getting. This is about actual fairness, and it should, it can hopefully echo throughout other industries and eventually get to everybody's industry. But these college players are doing the right thing. So,
What other job do you have? Well, there's other jobs like this.
Yes.
But in college athletics, you can go into a game and come out with a limp for life.
Right.
And you can in certain other industries. You can if you're a logger or something like that. I'm not saying it's unique to them.
Right.
But these guys aren't getting paid.
But no, this needs to be view it more as labor versus bosses as opposed to they should be grateful they're getting free college. This isn't what that's about. So just, before that becomes the argument of the day. As always happens whenever I brought it up in other times, people are like, well, they get this. And it's like, no. They're providing a ton of revenue and they're getting nothing from it. So.
Yep. Well, we had a lot of sports stories this week. I'm happy.
Yeah. I have a pseudo food moment.
Okay.
This very day, we weren't able to work today because we weren't able to get tested last Friday, so we had the day from home. Waited too long, so we ordered some takeout. And we got some Gus's world-famous fried chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mentioned on the show before, because it's very, very good chicken. But what I'm gonna shout out is not the chicken itself, which was delicious, was the method of getting it to me. Rather than the styrofoam containers, it was in brown. It was in triple bag, school lunch bag, brown paper bags.
Yeah.
And the chicken was still crispy, and so were the fries. Normally, you get the fried food; it comes in you get the container, and they tie the bag up, and then it creates that moisture. But this kept everything really nice that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want as much food delivery as we're doing in these days. I want somebody to invent a container that keeps French fries warm and semi-crisp.
Well, the paper bag with a napkin on top somehow did. And I don't know what that...
Styrofoam doesn't work.
No. It does not. But, yeah, Gus's fried chicken, if you can get it, it's really good. It's got a little crisp little bite to it. It's really excellent, excellent chicken.
Well, I fried chicken last week. And tonight I cooked a snapper again. So my food moments are pretty much If you follow me on Twitter, you see my food moments. But I did point out to Jason, if you love cinnamon rolls and you want some cinnamon rolls delivered to your house, go to williamsandsonoma.com. And they have cinnamon rolls you can order from a bakery in Michigan called Crust. And they're amazing. Very amazing. I think they're like brioche dough cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
They're outstanding.
And you said they're nice and
I
gooey.
paid $39 for 6 of them delivered to my door, and it came in 2 days. They were outstanding.
That's nice to hear. And again, if you went to a bakery, I think $6 per cinnamon roll is pretty close to what you pay. I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to Cinnabon, you're paying $4.50, $5.
Yeah.
And these are better.
There you go.
You know, warm them up for 45 seconds in the microwave. They're delicious, like you just come out of the oven.
Very nice. I'm still watching. I think the last episode that aired last night we're going to watch tonight, but I really still enjoyed the Patton Oswalt's wife's documentary.
I watched the last episode last night. It was well done. 7 episodes into Perry Mason. The 8th episode's next week. Really, really well done. Really great story. It's going to have a lot to tie up in one episode. And then TNT, the 4 2-hour segments on the Alien, this year's Angel of Darkness, are extremely well done. I'm enjoying all this. I got great TV to watch. And I guess next 2 weeks we'll start watching Lovecraft County, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited for that. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, that comes on. I guess Perry Mason is next week, so that would be the 9th, and then Lovecraft County starts the 16th.
It's very, very exciting. Some good TV. Yeah. And there's still good TV out there. I know where, and California just made my industry, entertainment workers, essential somehow, but I guess people are getting bored and feel like they're running out of TV, so there you go.
Yeah.
And again, hockey, I think you can watch all the hockey right now for like $5 for the month on some app, which is pretty crazy. And it's good. It's a good playoff style hockey. I mean, we're getting there.
The Lightning won today, and I think the Penguins play their game 2 tonight.
Yeah, the Penguins seem to as a Penguins fan, we've had, with the Crosby era alone, there's been plenty of Stanley Cups and plenty of victories. I just don't think this is our year. They just can't seem to put the pieces together, as teams tend to do. And I haven't seen which goalie is going to catch on fire to lead everybody away this time. But it'll be somebody.
Yeah.
But I do like that whoever gets knocked out of this early round, like even the Penguins, who had a good season, have a shot at the number 1 overall pick, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping for great NBA and great NHL playoffs. I'm hoping MLB gets through the season. I'm pessimistic. I'm hoping college football goes off on time. I'm actually confident about the NFL. I don't know why but I want to point something else out. There is a technology, a lighting technology, that a lot of arenas are installing now that is supposedly kills viruses. And so my good friend Eric Woolworth at the Miami Heat announced that they anticipate playing not only before fans, but before sellout crowds next year in Miami with the Heat.
That's exciting. And I know at work we have, it looks like an iPad. You put your face into the outline, it gives you your temperature in about 2 seconds. Not that your temperature is always the best indication, but it's a quick no hands walk in. Facial recognition gives you your temperature just like that.
Yeah.
So it's not even somebody pointing a little laser light down to your face anymore. Like, it's so fast. So, we're hopefully, I have seen more masks, which is nice to see. Good job, people. Do keep doing that. Yeah.
Well, I sent away for an Italy mask, and I got Mom a flat coat retriever mask. So we've been masking up. And just, it's not that big a deal. Wear a mask. My God, pulling guns on people because you don't wear a mask is insane. We're not cavemen. We're not cave dwellers. That's insane.
No, and I've worn one.
So closing out the show, I do want to congratulate Brian Murphy on his wedding last Friday night. So
Very
Mike
nice.
and Paula, again, 2 shout-outs in one show. Jason and I wanted to wish Brian and Holly the best. Wish them all the success and much happiness.
Yes, very nice. And I guess that'll probably do it for this week. We'll have some more we'll have lots of NBA next week.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
All right. So again, thank you to everyone that's been supporting us for 179 shows. Next week is 180. We'll still work depending on what we can do COVID wise. Maybe something special for 200.
We're open.
Yeah. And again, make sure you're emailing, texting, tweeting any questions you have, any topics you'd like discussed. We could probably arrange for one of you to call in at some point if you want to get on the show. Just let us know. We'll work with you.
We love it.
So until next week.